Hello and welcome to a bit of a channel update here. So, let's start off with the big news or the big announcement that I'll be stopping the Darkest Dungeon playthrough and not gonna record any more episodes. Why is that? Well, the first thing is that I feel like I've seen most of what the game has to offer up to this point. And the idea of basically running through the same 4 dungeons again until we eventually unlock the Darkest Dungeon while just grinding through heirlooms and gold with very little change in anything else kind of has me not excited. Like, I like the game so far. I enjoy the game play, but I think I don't enjoy it enough to just grind the same dungeons with the same enemies and the same configurations and having the 4 buttons to click. I feel like there's a little bit too little player agency, player interaction, and the progression is kind of, I want to say, boring, where like the only thing that happens as you gain levels is numbers go up, right? You put a guy in here, and then yes, I get a new skill, and the numbers go up a little, and I get a new skill, and the numbers go up. So, unlike, let's say, any sort of game that has talent trees or something like that in the skill progression, where you get to press new buttons, or the way you play a character fundamentally changes as you unlock a new skill. It's just the same thing. You're just doing 12 damage instead of 10 damage now, and same thing with Inventor. There's not enough variety that really keeps me interested long term. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's really it's me. It's not the game. Where I would like a little bit more. And that's where I'd rather end it on a good note, where I say, yeah, you know what, I enjoyed it up to here. But I think if I go ahead and grind through the rest of the game, I would probably rather have it in a bad memory than in a good memory. So I'd rather cut it here and say, you know what, I've seen everything up to this certain point, and that's good. Like, part of the problem, or part of the issue here is also, originally I wanted to start the game with the mod that reduces the campaign length, and probably if I had installed that correctly, I would have experienced the full game with a campaign ending stuff, and that's fine, but I failed to do that properly, so that's then also on me. That being said, what else? There was one more thing I wanted to mention quickly, but I guess if I don't remember it, then it can't be that important, right? Yeah, so Darkest Dungeon is over. I had fun with it, but I also think, long term, it's probably not my game that I would play repeatedly. And that's, again, personal choice, personal preference. I really think there's a lack of these kind of games. Party-based dungeon crawler with turn-based combat. I would really, really like that. All the way back to what was it? Might and Magic 4 had a fantastic combat system. Or Wizardry 7, if somebody remembers that. This kind of thing, right? Party-based turn-based combat. Bring it back. Give us more of it. But maybe more traditional, with level ups that mean a little bit more than numbers go up. Anyway, that out of the way, what else are we gonna do? Well, what else are we gonna do on this channel? Let me just give you. I'm just gonna click on exit to desktop here while I'll sneakily start some music in the background. What's this? XCOM? Yes. Pretty much just the moment I'll stop recording this little channel update video, I'm gonna jump into XCOM 2, launch up a modgem, Long War of the Chosen, and start a new campaign. That's then hopefully gonna go live tomorrow, Monday. We'll see. So yeah, I did also mention when I was taking the hiatus from XCOM that end of November, start of December. I have time off from work, and I wanted to do at that point restart the new XCOM campaign, and here we are. So that kind of the timing of stopping Darkest Dungeon comes at the exactly right point. So we're gonna return to XCOM 2, we're gonna return to Long War of the Chosen, and we're gonna play another campaign with ModJam. Now, those of you who are following my live streams will be familiar with the setup that we're playing here. For those not familiar with that, let me give you a quick rundown. So I've played a ModJam campaign in the past, which is almost a year ago when we started that. So there's a lot of changes that have come to ModJam in the meantime. And one of the most recent changes we're trying out in this campaign is a update of the workshop facility with this mod here that our good friend Illogical made. So basically, one of the big complaints with ModJam was that you don't have time to get all the toys because your proving ground and your research is occupied with important stuff. So all the little side grades, the little fun things, you never really get around to use them. And this mod kind of intends to address that by giving you a new facility that is used for these autopsies, so your research isn't occupied, and for the corresponding proving ground projects, so your proving ground can do actual useful stuff. So we started playing with this in the current streamed campaign a little bit, but have not really experienced the full effect of it, so we'll see how that goes. In addition to that, in this campaign for YouTube, we will also be doing the similar setup that I've been running in the stream, which is a setup of one soldier per class. For each class that exists in ModJam, we can only have one soldier. If that soldier dies, we cannot recruit another one of that same class. If we decide to turn a soldier into a mech trooper, we cannot backfill his class, so we kind of have to decide who we want to mech up, who we want to use. It forces you to use classes that you're not 100% on board with, you know. Maybe there are some classes in the past where I've kind of been always not a big fan of that class. Well, it's another class, because you can't get 6 assaults, you just have to see how you get along with other shotgun classes. Now, in order to actually be able to do that, we need a few more classes than what the base game has to offer. So let me just go through here. So this is, brightness on the eye here. This is the list of classes that are in ModJam itself. So you have the 8 base game classes and the hero classes, right? Then you have the ModJam classes. There are 8 classes added here. You have the playable aliens that we're going to be playing with. So we get covert actions where we can recruit aliens that join our ranks. Then you have some additional mods that are part of ModJam. These are all of these. Although we're not gonna have the Keeper and we're not gonna have the Crasher. I think those should not be in there. Of course you have the Mech Troopers. And you have the variations of the base game classes that ModJam does to the base Long War of the Chosen classes. In addition to that, we have this wonderful job by General Disarray, Proficiency class pack. You might remember the Proficiency classes that we played with in the Covert Infiltration campaign. So basically classes that have some baseline abilities that level up as your soldier levels up, that get more betterer. And so there are, I think, 6 classes in here that are upgraded with this proficiency interface, so we'll have those in here. There are also proficiency plugins for the free hero classes, but I think I want to play with the ModJam hero classes rather than the proficiency hero classes. Personal preference. And then finally, Captain Petrock, who is also a streamer, and you should totally check out his Long War of the Chosen streams. has a bunch of class mods created for Long War of the Chosen. You see here there's like 17 mods in his mod library, which is actually more classes than this, because one of them is a class pack with like 8 classes in there. And we're using also most of those. I think the only one I'm not using is the Combat Medic, but other than that, everything that's listed here is subscribed and ready to go. So that gives us, I want to say, roughly 50, maybe 60 different classes. So that gives a lot of variety. That also gives a lot of, hey, you might not get the class that you want. And yeah, it's something new to discover, because there are probably 10 classes in here total that I haven't played with at all, or that I never played to Master Sergeant. So interesting stuff, interesting different playstyles. The big challenges in terms of this whole setup of 1 soldier per class is that you're very much limited on phantom classes, so classes that can do your scouting. So you really need to choose and pick, and maybe on the agent class that you always want to have as a combat agent, you might go more for a scout agent, because you need phantom people, right, for scouting. The other big thing is so far any sort of hacking classes, as in anything with a gremlin. That's kind of rare. So you're a specialist, you're a dragoon, and then there's not much else so far. So that's kind of important in order to get those nice extra hacking rewards from your missions, and also to take care of robotic enemies. But yeah, those have been the big 2 challenges so far. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think there's a lot of potential for more campaigns, as every campaign really feels different, and just based on the classes that are being offered. So yeah, that's gonna be starting either tomorrow or on Monday, and the intention is to run this with 4 or 5 episodes a week, probably coming up then to the daily XCOM that you're used to from the past. So we still have the Project Zomboid playthrough going on at the moment. I'll leave it up to see how that develops, how much longer we're going to do this, because we're pretty much established. But there's still a few things I want to do in that game and explore that map a little bit more. But we can also get bitten at any point, and then it's just over. So we'll see where that goes, and if there's going to be future PC content here on the channel, or I'll move it back to some live streams. Other than that, it's almost December, and there are some game releases at the start of December everybody is very excited about, and that I might probably cover here on the channel. And if you've looked at the tabs that I have open here in this browser, you might have already spied something. Yes, exactly, I'm talking about Dwarf Fortress. Dwarf Fortress is a game that's really been there for a very long time, but it always looked like ass, right? So the interface was always very hard to get into, and I've played it years ago once, but always, if you didn't touch it for 2 months, you had to relearn it again. So a very complex game. It's kind of what inspired, in a way, games like RimWorld, definitely. So it's now getting a full update to a more modern UI, where you can actually use your mouse, and I'm excited to see how that shakes out. I hope it's going to be good. Like, the base game is fantastic and has some really interesting stories that develop over the game. So that's coming out December 6th, so in a little bit more than a week. So definitely something I'm looking forward to, and we might do a live stream of that, or maybe have something on the channel. I don't know yet. I'll probably have to see if I like it first, and then we'll see what else comes out of it. Other than that, I think I should mention this game, Midnight Suns, the new game from Firaxis with Jake Solomon. That's coming out on December 2nd, so also next week. I'm not excited for this one at all. Everything I've seen so far, like, it looks great, and you know, if you're into Marvel stuff, then it's probably going to be fantastic. But that's just, it's just not my kind of beer, my thing at all. And from what I've seen so far, there's the two parts of the game. There's the combat, and there's the whole hanging out with the superheroes in the Abbey stuff. And the second part couldn't get me less excited. And the combat I've seen so far seems very shallow and not have much depth. So considering the €60 price point, $60 at release, I think I'm probably gonna skip this one for now. I don't know. Like, I've watched live streams, I've seen some videos, and it's always been, I'm just not getting excited. I'm not just getting the, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on this feeling. It's rather just, okay, yeah, I mean, it, you know, fantastic presentation, good graphics, cool superhero stuff, but not for me. Anyway, so that's it for here. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. The usual kind of stuff, right? I will keep using the old character pool that we have for the new campaign. So if you want to get your face, your character in there, please join the Discord server, use the character submission channel to submit your characters, and they get added to the pool. Right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.